She weighs it on a scale. Now, if your value is not enough, that's not up to Venus to make a fix for you, an instant, quick fix. Okay, so we have talked about Venus and value, and now I want to bring to you how Venus measures value through the houses. So this is going to be a Venus through the houses video, but we're looking at specifically how Venus measures value. Okay, now the measurement is based off of how much, like how hungry you are, like how much of it do you use as a crutch? Do you feel like you have to have it, or is it just an enhancement? Okay, because Venus is the producer of the materials. So if you, let's say, if you have to have materials, right, and you can't live without materials, then the measurement is going to sense lack. Okay, Venus will sense lack, and then may even manipulate and control you through income by taking your income. Okay, so if you are in a crutch situation, then the measure of value is going to be in a place of lack, in which you may still produce the things that are unwanted. The things that you're trying to get away from you may still be a point of attraction, a magnet of attraction, even while using Venus. This is what happens when things become a crutch. Now, on the other side of it, if it is something that is used as an enhancement, then it's something that you don't need, you don't want or desire in a obsessive way. It is something that would be nice. It would make things even more exciting, even more pleasurable, right? And so you're using Venus as a tool and adding Venus on top of what you have already grown as your value. And that is going to be how value is measured through Venus, through the houses. So in the first house, Venus measures value based off of how much you need people to like you on the first shot, right? Or to, if it's not like, because in some zodiac placements in the first house, they may not need people to like them, but they may need people to have respect for them, or to see them as powerful, right? Or to communicate with them, or see them as a master communicator. There may be zodiac signs that, want to be those things versus liked. But in the first house, Venus is weighing out how much do you need these things from people when they first meet you. How much of Venus are you holding as a crutch, right, in order to get these things? So how much are you dressing yourself up in order to get the power, get the respect, get the beauty, get the likes, okay? And how much of it is like a crutch in which you don't think you could live without it, Like you couldn't have a moment where someone saw you in just your normal, natural self. This is something that would be measured in the first house. Now, in the more balanced scheme of it, it would be something where you know your value and you are dressing up because you want to improve on your best assets, or you may be dressing up for creative purposes, to explore things like that. If Venus is working in this way, then it's less of a crutch and it's more as a complement to your already grown value. So this is how Venus measures value in the first house. In the second house, Venus measures value based off of how much you need to make money at whatever cost. If the crutch is like this, you may, like, for example, there's I've been around a lot of actors, and certain actors will take a job because they just have to. In New York City, you just got to take a job, whatever job you can get. But then there's some actors that can be more selective. And I used to wonder, well, why is it that it would be that way? And this is an example of Venus using, in the second house, using money as a crutch, in which you'll take any job you can get, you'll take any offer that's available. You'll also maybe even see love as money or money as love, or try to buy love with how you use Venus, how you use money, beauty, things like that, all the materials. So what you find here is that in the second house, you can succumb to the need of survival more than the need of creativity. And so there's also the possibility of having jobs that you like, or making money in the way that and how you like to make it. There, in that measurement, right, there's more of a sense that you see your value in resources, and then you can go and contribute them to a business, right, where they're going to put you on and hire you. But even though they're hiring you, you're contributing more, like you're bringing a lot of value to it. And so being under a place that cuts you a check, right, and they see you as a contributor, is a very different experience than having to take whichever job you can get. And so Venus is measuring out value in the second house in this way. In the third house, Venus is measuring your space. It's measuring your environment. And how much do you use your environment as a clutch, right? Or how much are you contributing to your environment? So this would definitely be something where if you're messy, like me, then you might be using your environment as a clutch, in which you're, kind of just using it in the space of survival, again, similar to the second house. And just trying to exist and survive in that space, versus when you contribute to the environment, you make it look better, you make it more enhanced, and so you become a valuable contributor to your environment. And this goes also beyond just your space around you, but also like your neighborhood, the neighbors, how well do you have good relationships with the neighbors? Venus will measure those things, right? And this also has to do with your space of comprehension and translation, because it's the idea of coming out of just what you know and going into what other people know, right? So it's that communication, and it's the comprehension and the translation of comprehension that Venus is measuring. And how does she measure that? Well, that's definitely based off of how well people understand you, or how well do you understand others. How well do you, because the understanding comes through translation, right? On an emotional, mental, and technical way, how you hear people, what they're saying, how, when your listening style. So if your listening style is like, your listening style will be lackful if you're listening to somebody talk to you and then you are just waiting for the moment for you to respond, right? So Venus in this placement would measure that as a lackful communicator. Is because of the inability to receive and then digest and then answer all the way, right? And then so being more balanced here, be more of a contributor of conversation would be in that style. Someone who can sit and listen and then digest what the person said, understand their emotional state, filter out, the parts that are not being said that want to be said, those in-betweens, right? And then being able to understand the person as a whole and then respond also as you as a whole. So that conversation style, I was going to say like they sound pretty also too, but that's not always the case. It's more of the eloquence of the conversation versus just how nice it sounds. But yeah, if you're somebody who is more, in conflict with your words, you also can be in a lackful space with Venus here, and Venus will be measuring that, right? You might need to hold on to certain types of words, phrases, or sayings, right, as a clutch. And you might be like using these words, or even like swear words, right, as a clutch, like not able to find different replacement words that would, really expand the idea of what you're trying to say. So that's Venus measuring value in the third house. Okay, so Venus measuring value in the fourth house, okay? Now, the fourth house is home, and this has to do with your actual home, but also home and homelessness. That's a state of being. Now, Venus is measuring your clutch for a home, clutch for a family here, okay? And at what costs? Like, if family is not supportive of you, how much are you in need of them to be supportive of you? And how much are you in need of them, right? So it deals with the actual conflict that you have in your family, and it's absolutely okay to have conflict in your family. That doesn't mean that you're out of balance, because we're all just working to understand each other. But there's when the family is a clutch, there's just a deep unknowing, like just not enough homework is being done on why, and what are the inner workings behind the family. So the clutch of the family is just because. It's like, do this just because they're your family. It's not enough here, but if you're using Venus as a clutch, then that's how it looks like. Now, in the fourth house of Venus being a little bit more balanced, you may have conflict with the family, but you work with this sense of steadiness and loyalty, because you know that you are, you have the choice to be in it till the end, basically. There's also this sense of wanting to understand the history and family history that becomes very powerful when Venus is a contributor to the fourth house. And she creates value off of building the knowledge of heritage, DNA, bloodlines, and history. Now, when it comes to homelessness as a state of being, I say this in the sense that you can be homeless and still, be imbalanced. But you can't really, because true homeless is, okay, there's homeless. The actual homeless would be just to not have a home, right? Okay, the actual being homeless is a sense of not being able to create a home for yourself. And if you feel that, like, a partnership and babies or an actual home, like getting your actual home, is an important part of what creates home, right? You're more lost in the material matter of things, because even humans themselves are matter, and what is true home is feeling safe and comfortable within yourself. So you may discover that homelessness is a being state where you just never feel safe, right? Everything feels like a threat. You're always looking for who's out to get you. And you feel like, no one will hold a safe space for you, right? It's the inability to share safety with somebody else as well. So that is homelessness, and that is how Venus is used as a clutch in the fourth